Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another round of Modern. We have Mark Mara on Yorion Elementals versus Nick Urban on Izzet Prowess. We got Mark leading on the plays of Windswept Teeth. And Nick following up with a Spire Bluff Canal to a Monster Swift Spear and then a Mishra's Ball getting a Prowess trigger. Both of these decks are really fun to play. One of these decks takes a lot of time, the other one likes to go very, very, very fast. Obviously the Elemental deck's the one that wants to go fast. That's what the deck's known for, right? Not going to time. Alright, Mark's going to use that Windswept Teeth, fetch out a Spar's Headquarters here using the brand new Not a Triome from the streets of New Capenna. I had to remember the name of the set for a second there. This is the Bant one, or the Broker's one that taps for green, white, blue, or blue, white, green, however. I think technically blue, white, green is how you would say it, because of Wooburg. But, no, white, blue, green. White is the top of Wooburg. Well, not relevant. There's a snow-covered plains into a prismatic ending on that Monastery Swift Spear. Nick has a couple interesting things in his deck. If you've been following the Moto Leagues, you've probably seen this new version of Prowess. It is playing 3 copies of Ledger Shredder from the Streets of New Capenna, which is a 1/3 with a connive mechanic on it that says whenever a player casts their second spell during either turn, you may draw a card, discard a card, and if it's a non-land, you put a +1/+1 counter on Ledger Shredder. It's really good. It's a 2-mana creature. It's really strong. It's been popping up in multiple Modern decks. Pioneer. I think there's an argument for it to be playable in Legacy. I actually think it's kind of cute in a Tempo Doomsday pile, but I am not Max Torsion. I will not be able to figure it out. If anybody will, it'd be him. And then Nick is also playing Underworld Breach, which I don't remember if Prowess has ever played before. However, it makes sense now that you're looting a lot more often. And let me tell you, it's pretty powerful. I've been testing the deck a little bit. I put it back together in paper just because Prowess was something I really enjoyed playing pre-Modern Horizons 2. So I'm back playing it now for some fun, and it's quite good. Summon Underworld Breach while you have bolts in the yard. It's nice. Alright, so Mark's turn 3 consisted of a Spreading Seas onto the Spire Bluff Canal here. Alright, I'm going to Lava Dart Mark. 16, which means Nick's probably casting a Stormwing Entity. Very rarely is there a reason to just Blind Dart somebody, but that would be the reason. I have noticed a lot of lists starting to move away from Stormwing Entity, which is interesting. The card is exceptional. It used to be, like, low-key a boogeyman of the format. Because the 3/3 Prowess flying creature can be a problem sometimes. But Teferi Time Raveler does put it back in your hand. That card is everywhere nowadays. You also have, like, Fury and Solitude and Endurance. Not that Endurance always kills it, but, you know, it blocks it. Alright, going to land number 4 for the Prowess deck. Not something you see terribly often is Prowess going this late. I think usually they shore the game up by turn 3, turn 4. Ideally, you want to draw, I think usually, maybe turn 4 is to kill. I'm trying to think of like all the, there's a good amount of 2-mana spells in the deck. So, turn 4 is probably where you want to be. Mark playing an Odawara, Soaring Cities, his land for turn last turn. There's a Manamorphose, most likely producing red-blue here. And there's a Stormwing Entity that we knew about because of the Teferi bounce. I'm still slightly coming over my cold, or getting over my cold. So if you hear me sniffling, I do apologize. There's a Dragon's Rage Chandler. Do flashback a Lava Dart from the yard, killing the Teferi. Surveil Trigger from the Darcy. If I remember right, I think Nick just leaves it on top because he knows what they are because of the Scry 2. Let me tell you, using Darcy or Dragon's Rage Chandler to surveil Lava Darts in the graveyard, pretty good. Pretty strong. Big fan.
I'll pass to you.
Right, 2 mana, Expressive Iteration, get a Prowess trigger. Going to get Counterspelled, using a really cool Counterspell art. I wonder what that's from. Knowing Mark, it's probably some fancy version. I'm going to attack in for 4 here with a bolt, so it'll be 5, 8 damage total. Mark should be going to 8 here. Yes, indeedy.
Cast Abundant Growth on the
Okay, is it Abundant Growth on the Otawara? You're going to draw a card. Places land for turn. So we have white, blue, red.
I'm going to buy Yorion.
Alright, I'm going to buy Yorion to the hand. Just going to pass the turn. Probably means he has a Solitude. Expressive Iteration number 2. This card, this time it's going to resolve. Exiles a Lava Dart, okay.
Sure.
To sack off the Islet, to draw a card, plays another Islet, attacks in for 3, or 4.
It's a 4/4 right now? It is currently a 4/4.
Alright, Mark's going to evoke Solitude here by pitching March of Otherworldly Light, or exiling it.
I'll take one off my island.
Nick is just going to Lava Dart in response.
17.
Target me.
Wanting to get another Prowess trigger to gain that life back, but also just to do a damage to Mark and get the Lava Dart in the graveyard.
Target. It's 5 life, I believe, right?
Yes, it would be 5 now.
Yep. And then sack Solitude. You're at 22.
I'm at 22.
Yep.
I think clutch Solitude, because I'm pretty sure Nick had lethal there.
In your end step.
If Mark didn't do that. Alright, Mark's going to fetch to 6.
A tapped Sacred Fountain.
Mark is dropping cards over here.
Tap, upkeep, draw for turn. Two cards. A Lava Dart in the graveyard.
I have 1 lava dart.
Any of those creatures with haste? I'm going to cast Yorion.
Okay, 5 mana, I'm going to cast Yorion, going to blink the Abundant Growth and the Spreading Seas.
Spreading Seas on the, on the Fiery Islet.
Okay, option put it on the Islet, we'll draw 2 cards.
Good.
I wonder if Nick has the Vapor Snag in hand. I know he plays it. Mark is also just within the double bolt range.
Yep.
As a land for turn. Red, blue. Underworld Breach.
Yep.
It's going to give every card in his graveyard escape. It's going to bolt Mark.
3.
I'm going to flash back the bolt at you.
And it's going to bolt Mark again.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Escape. What get rid of 3 lands.
So with the bolt on the stack, I will evoke Solitude.
Yep.
Target Yorion.
Right. Mark is going to evoke a Solitude here, exiling Yorion.
So I go to 4.
Going to gain 4 life, go to 7. Take bolt damage, go to 4. If Nick has enough cards, he can just re-escape the lightning bolt, however, do 3 damage, and then flashback lava dart.
One.
I'm gonna flashback
Oh, you have the dart.
I do have a dart.
Ooh, punt not putting that on the spread.
There's the lava dart flashback.
Yeah, you got it.
For lethal. Alright, folks. Nick is going to take game 1 with Izzet Prowess over Mark Mara. We will be right back with game 2 in just a second.
Trying lots of fun stuff and breaches. I'm very proud of you.
I'm learning. I'm gonna keep.
I'll keep.
Alright. I'm gonna go to 19, get a base.
Alright, friends, we are back. We got Mark resolving his fetch light here, grabbing a snow covered forest.
You can thank my opponent for
Probably putting a 1-mana enchantment on that forest. Or playing an Oath of Nissa. Those are the two typical play lines. Oh boy, apologies for that. Alright, Abundant Growth coming down. Let's see Nick lead on a Monastery Sphere.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, hi.
I've seen this
Oh,
before.
Mystery's Bubble. Looking very similar to turn 1 last game. Attacking it for 2.
Bubble you.
I've been bobbled.
And crack the bubble. Sees an expressive iteration.
Bobble trigger. Draw for turn.
Mark holding it at such a good angle that we can see it on the camera. I appreciate it. This looks like a Ren N6. There it is. Or Ren N$60 as Mark referred to it as, though I'm pretty sure it's a little bit more than that. Stupid card. But it's getting reprinted in Double Masters too. With what I consider to be a pretty good full art. I see a lot of people not a fan of it, but that's okay, because that should make it a little bit cheaper, so I could buy them. Or buy my set. I'm not buying all of them. That's dangerous. I'll buy a bunch of like stupid 10-cent cards. I won't buy a bunch of $100 card. Here's an expressive iteration. Ooh. Going for the EI on 2, which I usually not something that's like advised, right? Like usually the play pattern is, oh, you play it turn 3, because then you can maybe find your turn 3 land drop. But I mean, if any deck is gonna try and jam for iteration value on 2, it's probably Prowess. Try and find that bauble, get your free cast, and just kind of start chugging along from there. Here, so Mark currently has a forest that's doing a lot of extra work, and a snow-covered plains. Right, I'm going to Prismatic Ending the Monastery Sphere. My friend group refers to it as Taylor Sphere, and I don't... It's always so hard when I'm like talking about Monastery to not say it. It's such a dumb nickname. Right, 2 mana, what do we got, Nick? We got an Arid Mesa, okay. Followed by a Soul Scar Mage. Okay, slightly worse, Monastery Sphere.
Go ahead.
Draw for turn.
I will say, folks, if you're looking for a cheap way to get into Modern, Prowess is actually a pretty decent start. The other deck on the table, not so much. Not so much of a cheap option. But Prowess, I mean, Scalding Tarns are like $20, Iron Maces are like $15. They're probably your big hitters. You don't play Ragavan. Ledger Shredder's like $15 now. But Swiftspear, Channeler, Soulscar Mage, they're all relatively cheap. Underworld Breach might be the most expensive spell. No, Mystery's Bauble is the most expensive spell. But you're looking at like a couple $100 as opposed to like $2,000, which is what the other deck on the table is worth. Give or take like $100 maybe. So if you are looking to get into Modern, Izzet Prowess is a great way to do this.
Cleanup.
I'll fetch.
Yep.
19.
It looks like there's an Omnath coming down here.
You good if I go to cleanup?
Yes.
I will discard a Windswept Heath. And pass turn.
No Omnath. We've lied. Oh, he was just discarding. He was in the cleanup step. He was discarding the Windswept Heath for turn. I understand what he's doing now. I remember that turn. Steam Vents are also some money. That's the other card in Prowess. Soken's on? Okay. Crucible of Defiance.
Combat's good.
You.
Attacking at that Soulscar Mage. Going to Lava Dart.
Take one from the dart.
Yes.
Spark's going to take 1 from the Lava Dart, and then I'm assuming 2 at this. Yep, 2 from the Soulscar Mage. Unless it was going to Rent, but
Storming?
there's a Stormwing Entity coming out. I'm gonna scry 2 cards. I kind of miss Sprite Dragon, man. Sprite Dragon used to get ridiculous. Such a good card. Now, not so much.
Go ahead.
Alright, untap. Upkeep. Draw.
The not Prowess, but Prowess mechanic.
Worrisome over there.
That's a lot of cards.
Alright, tapping 4 here.
Blue, red.
Now it looks like we're slamming an Omnath Locust Creation on the board,
Sure, so that's on the stack.
which Nick has a response. He's going to Mystical Dispute it,
Yep.
which does counter it. It does cost 3 less too, because Omnath is a blue card.
Windswept Heath is my land for turn. 4, 5, 6, 7. Pass here.
Play our land for turn. It's going to pass.
I am about to be dead.
Alright, taps for a red. Cassie, Dragon's Rage Channeler.
Combat.
Yep.
Bolt at you.
It's going to attack in here for what's currently 4. Going to flash back the Lava Dart by sacrificing the Steam Vents. We're going to get a Surveil trigger.
Yep.
I'll bin a Spire Bluff. No other effects.
Alright, I'll take 6.
Yes.
I am at 4.
Go ahead.
Wish I could fetch. Untap.
You can.
Yeah. Not advised. Upkeep. Draw for turn.
Do you have Delirium?
Alright.
Sorcery, land, instant.
You do.
Got 2 cards in hand for Nick. Mark's got a couple cards. I think he has the Yorion. I think he bought that the 1 turn. I feel like that was his turn 3. Was buying Yorion. Could be wrong. Or it could have been his turn 4 actually, but
I'll cast Expressive Iteration.
alright. Cast an Expressive Iteration. Gonna look at the top 3 cards of the deck. See, Time Raveler. I'm not sure what else he's got in his hand there. Do. Alright, so
I'm dead.
going to exile the Teferi Time Raveler. as a land for turn, casts a fairy.
Yep.
Nick immediately picks his hand up. There's a mystical dispute there. And that is going to be game 2, going to Nick Urban. On Izzet Prowess over Yorion Elementals. Folks, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, we appreciate you watching.